everybody. I'm Alyce-Kay from SufferingWell. And for the next few days, I'm going to share with you some of the benefits of doing the Stations of the Cross. Now, I want to just give you a little bit of background as to why I'm talking about that. And this is because those of us at Suffering Well are going to be hosting a webinar for 6 weeks about the Stations of the Cross. We're going to do kind of a Bible study and discussions of how we can apply the Stations of the Cross to our lives. So if you want to find out about that, find out what we're doing and when it is, look in the description box below because I've got a link to the video where I give the details about that. But let me just tell you one thing about that first before you go check that out. In that, I said, I want to make sure that if anybody's looking at this later, that they know what year it was. And I said it was 2003. Oh my word, it's 2023. Okay, I'm like 20 years off. So anyway, that's what's going on, and we're really excited. It's going to be starting February 22nd. No, February 19th. Ash Wednesday is February 22nd. This is for any Christians or anybody actually who wants to check it out. Usually the Stations of the Cross are done by Catholics, but this is something that would be totally fine for Protestants to do. It's just one of those really wonderful devotions that we have that can be very meaningful no matter what brand of Christian you are. So if you'd like to join us, space is limited, but we do have some spaces left still at this time. And so go ahead and check that out below. You do need to register because we're going to be doing it on Zoom. It will not be recorded. Okay, so anyway, today I wanted to talk about how the Stations of the Cross started and why. So when Jesus was walking to the cross, there's a street in Jerusalem called the Via Dolorosa, which means the way of suffering or the way of sorrow. And it has different places along it where different things happened as Jesus was carrying his cross up to Calvary. And so each of those places is memorialized, and pilgrims who go there for the last couple thousand years have gone to the Via Dolorosa and have kind of traveled along with Jesus, experiencing as best they can what he went through. Obviously, when we do that, we can't experience what he went through, but we meditate on it. We think about it, we pray to him about it, and sometimes we try to see it from different people's perspectives, such as his mother Mary's perspective, or the women of Jerusalem's perspective, or Simon of Cyrene's perspective. But mainly we try to understand what Jesus went through. And there are a lot of reasons for that, which I'll be talking about over the next few days. But just to give you a little background, because it's a long ways to Jerusalem for most of us. And for most of us, it's just not a place that we'll ever get to go. I did get to go to Jerusalem in 1982, but I spent a month in Israel and it was wonderful. And I'd love to go back, but what are the chances that I'll get to do that, right? And many of you will never have that chance. So what they did was, I think it was the Franciscans in the 17th century who started having the Stations of the Cross, which is those little places along the Via Dolorosa where different things happened to Jesus. They started having memorials of those in their churches, and they worked it down to 14 stations, 14 events that happened to Jesus as he was traveling that way, including the crucifixion, bringing him down from the cross, and his burial. So those are the 14 Stations of the Cross, and it's a wonderful devotion. It's meaningful. It can be somewhat overwhelming if you really spend time in it, but that's good. Sometimes we need to be overwhelmed. Sometimes we need to suffer along with Jesus and try to understand his pain. It helps us to understand what our sin cost him, which also I think helps us to live holier lives. In a way, we walk along with him. And so that's basically how that started. I want to talk in the next few days about some of the benefits of doing this. And then again, I just want to invite you to join us in the Stations of the Cross. We're going to be studying it. We're going to look at the Bible, what it says. We're going to look at tradition and some of the things that were passed down to us by the church fathers and by people who were there. And it's going to be just really, really exciting. I think it's going to be very meaningful. And I hope that you'll join us. Look in the description box below for a link to the invitation. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.